Hi, I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to continue with my series entitled Blues Solos with Comping. In these exercises we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment, also known as comping. First, I will perform blues solo in the key of D minor number 2, and then I'll break it down for you. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, let's break down blues solo with comping in the key of D minor, number 2. In these examples, we go back and forth from lead guitar to rhythm guitar accompaniment, also known as comping. So we'll be playing a 12-bar blues that I've divided into 3 parts, and in each part we'll play a lick, go to comping, and play a lick, and go back to comping, and alternate throughout the 12 bars doing that. First, let's look at the scales that we'll be using. The first scale is the open D minor blues scale. Now, you might hear the blues scale referred to as the minor pentatonic. Sometimes those terms are used interchangeably. The only difference between the minor pentatonic and the blues scale is the addition of the blue note. So let's look at the open blues scale for D minor. It starts down here on the first fret on F, and that is the low minor third of the pattern. Here is the pattern. So that was the D blues scale. We'll also briefly switch into the G blues scale, and that's also going to be fingered here in the first few frets. So I'm going to start again on the F, and this is the G blues scale. For this pattern, it would be the G pattern encaged. That means it's where the octave shape looks like a G. So you can see that those G's would fit under like a G major chord there. So encaged, this is the G form of the G minor pentatonic or the G blues scale. Now with the D minor, we would call this the D pattern because it fits over where the chord is like a D or D minor, and the octave shape is the open D and then this D here. So we did the open D pattern for D minor, and now we're going to do the G pattern for G minor. So here we go. G blues scale. So those will be the scales that we'll be using in this example. So let's get a look at part 1. Here's part 1. So we're starting with pull-offs here from the 3rd fret F to an open D. That's the root. So that's a triplet, and in this bar that we're starting on, this is a lead-in bar, like a pickup bar into the first full bar. So we're leading into bar 1 with just guitar with this triplet pull-off. And we do it again. And then so that run just goes right up the scale, starting on D, straight up the D blues scale. And then we go into our accompaniment pattern. So the accompaniment pattern here is sort of like the tune Green Onions a little bit. We have power chords though. We're going to be playing an open D5 twice, and then we go up 3 frets to an F5, and then we go up to a G5, and then back down to a D5. So those are all power chords, and those power chords are based out of the minor pentatonic, so it gives it a minor sounding tonality. So this is basically the accompaniment for D minor. then we go on to our next lick. And we're going to start on the note A, and I'm using my middle finger here. And we have triplets, so that's the A, the fifth of the chord. So I often say that good phrases tend to begin and end on chord tone, so I'm starting on the fifth here, A, and going to D, and back to A, so that's a triplet. And then coming down the scale from C, blue note, and then ending on D, so. And then I'm back to that D accompaniment. Let's put that together. On to part 2. Here's part 2. So part 2 is over or leading into G minor, and G minor is the 4 chord in our 12-bar progression. So we're going to be using the G minor blues scale. So we're starting on the note G, and we're coming right down the blues scale using triplets. So that's really just a straight run down the blues scale in triplets. And then, so we go down to here, 3rd fret on the D string, which is an F note, and then we go back up and we end here on the note B flat, which is the minor third of our chord. So this goes back to what I was saying about chord tones. We're beginning this phrase and ending it on chord tones. We start on a G, go down the scale, we come back, and we end on the minor third of the chord. So we're really bookended by chord tones here. And then we go to an accompaniment pattern that's based on G minor. So it's really just the same pattern transposed to G. We start on a G power chord, finger like this. So this is G5, and then we go to the minor third of that, which is B flat, and then we go up a whole step to C, and then back to G. So this is the same pattern that we played for D, just transposed. So it's outlining a G minor tonality. Then we go back to a lick that's kind of leading back into the D minor. So we have, starting here on the note D, triplet, and then we have a pull off, and we come right down a D minor triad here. So this shape is a D minor triad, and we're outlining that. And then ending on the note D. This makes sense that we're playing that D minor triad there because we're leading back into the D minor tonality. And then we go back into the comping for D minor. Let's put that together. To part 3. So this first lick is targeted over A minor, and that's our 5 chord. So we're going to start on an A. So we start with this A, and then we go to the open G, and then we go up to a D. Now these next notes, this right here, you can might refer to this chord as C6. It's also the same as a first inversion A minor chord. First inversion means that the root's not in the bottom, the third is the lowest sounding note in the chord. So if you don't understand anything about triad inversions, you might want to check out some of my videos on that subject. But instead of really playing out a pentatonic here, or D minor pentatonic, I'm really kind of just playing out of this triad shape, and this is, again, first inversion A minor. So I'm going to come down that set of notes. So I start out here on A, and here's this triplet, and then I end the phrase on the root A. So that's outlining my A minor, and then I go up and play an A minor triad here. So I'm comping for myself here, going to the comping part, and I'm playing an A minor triad, and I'm walking it down to a G minor triad, like that. And then I'm back to a D minor D minor pentatonic lick, starting on triplets. So I've got then I'm going to go back to the D minor accompaniment. And then I'm approaching the 5 chord from below, from this G note, G sharp, chromatic approach, and then I'm hitting an A7 chord. Now, this is a dominant 7th chord, an A7th chord, and this is, it could be one of the 5 chords that's used in a minor key. It's a dominant 5 chord. And that's going to set up my resolution to the last chord, which is just a plain D minor triad here. So let's put that together. Here is part 3 one more time. That's it for Blues Solo with comping in the key of D minor number 2. I'm Kimberly Allison from Starliner Music, and I hope to see you back on my channel soon.